Welcome back to the channel, guys and girls. Thanks for stopping by. You're watching 412 PSC Customs here on YouTube. Well, today we're going to do something just slightly different, and yes, we're going to do it in the snow. Some of you might know old Bessie here. This is my 2008 Ford Crown Victoria. You may have watched the video where I changed the clock spring on this. If not, go check it out. But today we have a bigger issue. And since the slowdown at the shop has us temporarily shut down due to this COVID insanity, we are going to show you guys how to fix an axle bearing. Yes, that is the driver's side axle. Absolutely should not do that. So sit back, and hopefully this is helpful to anybody else that wants to take on a job like this at home. Let me just say, I do not recommend doing this on gravel or doing this on an unlevel gravel area. If you can, do this on an absolutely level concrete or paved location. Now let's take a look at what we're going to need to do this job. All right, folks. So this is pretty much everything you're going to need to get this done, aside from a floor jack and some jack stands, which I already have the car jacked up and leveled, I guess, in a safe spot. You are going to need a heavy-duty slide hammer, which is the big black box. You can buy these. If you buy these, make sure you get a decent brand. I believe this one is made by Orion Motor Tech. Yeah, Orion Motor Tech. It's a pretty good quality tool. Not the cheapest, but you can also go to like AutoZone or Advanced Auto. They'll rent you these units for free, actually. They make you pay for them up front, but that's just because if you don't bring them back, you know, they need to get their money out of it. But when you bring them back, they will refund every dime. So there's the heavy-duty slide hammer. Then you're going to need bearing and seal puller adapter kit for the slide hammer, and you'll see how that works here a little bit later. Obviously, we need new bearings, new seals. I use a dead blow hammer, and I think that's probably your best bet for hammering these things back in. Actually, I did forget one tool set. Let me get that and poke back in here. So you're going to need some lumber crayons, obviously some new gear oil. 75W140 is what Ford is calling out for now in these differentials, and limited slip additive. Now you're going to have to check your door tag to see if you have a limited slip differential. Most of them do, some of them don't, if they were meant for highway use. But you'll have to check that. And of course, some people say that the gear oil has the additive in it if it's the synthetic, or if somebody makes it or whatever. That's just something that I'm going to do. Obviously, a couple cans of brake clean, some PB blaster, because you're going to need to break some bolts loose, and then either you can go with a fiber gasket, which I actually ordered for this job, but it, due to USPS delays, has not showed up. So I went and bought the Permatex gasket makers. Make sure you get the one specified to be used with gear oil, because otherwise gear oil tends to break down your normal gasket maker. And then you're going to need some thread locker. I just threw the orange in here. This is not the one that you have to use. You can go with the blue. I wouldn't necessarily use the red, and I'll show you where we're going to use that in just a minute. Okay, and thanks to the magic of video, here is the other tool that I did leave out at first. That is going to be your bearing and race insertion or extraction adapters. You don't have to use these. I know people that get away with using sockets and other various items to do the job of these, but I really like this set. Obviously the shaft that come with that failed, so that's no longer there. And then some grease, just general purpose grease will work. So yeah, that's what we're going to use to get this thing done. Well, let's get at it. All right, guys, so as you can see, I already have the car on jack stands. I am using 2x4s to stabilize the base of them because in the gravel and the soft ground below it, they were just sinking. So, and then I also have the 6x6 there, or the 6x4 or whatever it is, just for safety in case it falls and I'm working over here. That should hopefully give me enough space to escape. All right, so looking over here, I've already removed the tire, the the rotor, and the brake caliper. Now the brake calipers, those are brand new. We had an issue with the brakes and the caliper leaking back here, so we put new calipers on the back, bled all the brakes. Yeah, that was a job that I did not videotape, and I do apologize. I probably should have. All right, so now what I'm doing is I'm taking off the ABS sensor back here. That's what this little wire is. So we need to take that off because it will be in our way of getting this axle out and the bearing changed. So this is a 10mm wrench that I'm using. Most of them should have just a 10mm bolt that you can get from the backside. This one, I'm not real sure if it's just old. It's not the same as the one on the other side, so it requires a wrench, and I think you can see, I think I already cracked and split the housing on it, so this one may require replacement. And here's a better view of it. Going to try to push it through from the inside here. There we go. Looks like she's coming out pretty easy. Now, I don't think that should slide off of there like that, but there she is. She's free. Boy, does that thing not look savable. I don't know. Maybe we'll clean it up and see if it can be reused, but I doubt it. But now that that's out, we can run over to the other side, get that side out, and then pull that diff apart and show you some of that. All right, so here we are on the other side. And I did forget to mention, but I guess I thought of it as it goes without saying, you're gonna need, you know, a normal mechanics socket set, hand tools, you know, some wrenches, some sockets, and things along those lines to get this done. I'm gonna try to get at this thing from here. I'm doing this while the melting snow drips on my head off the car. Now this one is the 10 mil bolt that you can get from the backside. I'd say a little bit easier, hopefully a little easier to save the sensor itself. They're not too hard to get out, but you may need some of that PB blaster. Of course, that's one of my best friends. I use PB blaster all the time, so just something to have around. It's just a helping hand. Comes in handy quite a bit. All right, so once I get this out, so far, we'll go ahead and start pushing the pin out from inside. Probably would be easier with a 1/4-inch ratchet if I can get it in there. All right, I think this might work a bit faster anyway. I think we got her just about loose, and we will start pushing her out. Voila, there we go. Boy, that thing's not real clean either, is it? Well, we'll clean that up with some brake clean, and hopefully that'll be reusable too. I don't know, that thing looks bent, doesn't it? Oh man, I don't know. We might need 2 new ones. Well, I guess we'll visit that whenever we get there, but now we're gonna break open a differential, drain the fluid out of it. Now, one thing I will tell you is before you take the differential rear cover off and drain that fluid, make certain that you can break loose and remove the fill hole or the fill plug. It's a magnetic plug that uses either just a 1/2-inch drive or a 3/8 drive with no socket, just the ratchet. Be real careful you don't round that thing off, or you'll be in serious trouble. But if you can't get that fill plug out, don't even take that cover off, because without being able to fill it through there, you will be in a really bad situation. All right, guys, so I've already taken all of my diff bolts out. They were 13 millimeter for the cover. Here's that fill plug I was telling you about. Has a little magnet inside of it, and what that's for is whenever you take that out, you can check for metal shavings. So make sure you can break that loose. Mine was it came out with a 3/8 drive. So yeah, make sure you can get this thing out before you go taking that cover off. But without further ado, let's get that cover off. All right, guys, so now here we are up under the car at the pumpkin, or the differential as some people call it. I tend to call it a pumpkin, but pretty much it's the differential. So here's what I did. I have one bolt still in it up at the top. Sometimes you'll have brake lines and wires that are kind of clipped on to these bolts. Mine does not. So I have my oil tray under here, and we are going to try to break this thing loose. That's where this dead blow hammer comes into play. Now I'm going to try to get this seal broken down along here, and you'll notice the diff fluid starting to leak out. Eventually, after I'm soaked in the gear oil, which is severely black, I don't know, hell, it might be even burnt. This is going to get a little bit difficult here with the, oh yeah, that stuff's burnt bad. So it will eventually pop free, just like so. Make sure you got your oil catcher under here and a rag handy so you can clean your tool and your hand off. Definitely recommend wearing gloves for this step. I try to wear gloves no matter what I'm doing, but there you have it. You can see part of the seal here kind of falling off. It should break free just like that. What I'll do is try to get most of that out of there before I take the cover completely off. This can be a pretty messy job, I guess. Man, that stuff is so thick it doesn't even want to drain into my pan here. It's draining really slow. Let's see if we can pull this plug up a little bit and get her to drain faster. Last thing I want is this thing to fill up and overflow. That wouldn't be good, especially for the environment or the driveway. But alright guys, so the battery is getting a little bit low, so we will pick this up here in a minute. As you can see, there is the differential gear oil in there trying to get itself down into the canister, and here's our differential. Now when you put this thing on jack stands, I recommend putting the jack stands on the frame. The first time I jacked this up, I tried to put my jack stands on the axle itself, and what that does is the weight of the car is still pressing down on the axle. So if you do that, your differential is going to be way further up by the gas tank, which will make it a lot harder to get your bolts out. So that's definitely a recommendation. I don't know, this diff cover is looking pretty bad. Might think about changing it, but we'll pick this up here shortly. I got to charge this camera.